Hey, what up, everybody? I had to take my first channel down because I said something politically incorrect to somebody. It was really not a nice thing to do. Excuse me. I had like 250 subscribers. There was about 4 gems on there because I did videos about serial killers and true crime stuff. I would just take like a whole 45-minute documentary and break it down to a 15 or 20-minute video. But I'm just gonna tell my jail story again. I actually filmed a video right when I got out, and it wasn't very good. And this was like 2 years ago, so I'm not gonna remember. Well, there's not a lot to remember because it was not eventful. Don't go to jail, ladies and gentlemen. But I did a video about, I'm just gonna touch on this really quickly. I did meet someone who's incarcerated. She's been in prison for a long time. I saw a show on her case. It was called E Investigates. And I was attracted to goth women when I was younger. And I could tell by the documentary that they totally were dragging her through the mud and telling lies. I know what really happened because this person we were in a relationship for a couple of years, and now we're still best friends to this day. I got 2 ride or die friends, and that person's still one of them. So I wrote a letter, and we became pen pals, and then in a relationship. I visit when I can. I'm from Cincinnati, she's in Illinois, so it's kind of a drag to drive up there. But yeah, I did a video about how to write an inmate because I pondered on it for the whole weekend and did look it up, what to do and what not to do. But anyway, she told me what really happened face to face, and there was remorse. It was a horrible thing, but I'm going to get off of that for now. I'll tell my jail story. But first, I just want to, well, for the maybe 24 people that'll watch this, there's 2 channels that I need to talk about. Fight On, Fyton. It's Brian Bruton's channel. I was one of his early subscribers. He's a great dude. I've never met him personally, but he's real 100%. He's got an interesting story. And he's a motivational speaker. He's very motivational. And also, Mob Rats Exposed. This guy has me rolling. He goes after these rats the mob rats that put people in prison and lie. He just trolls the shit out of people. His voice is kind of, he sounds like a creep, but he's really a smart person, and he's fucking hilarious. So you gotta check out Mob Rats Exposed and get Brian Bruton. Fight On. Get him remonetized and catch his lives. I still, on his lives, I still recognize a few people that used to watch my videos when I actually had a channel, because I actually gave a shit and thought maybe someday I'll get paid for this, but I don't have a really good life story, so and I'm not going to be a phony fuck, but I'll just talk about my jail story. I want to try to make this less than 10. And if Brian, you see this, you watched my first video, you know how nervous I was. Like, that was kind of embarrassing, but okay. So what happened is I was at my parents' house and I'd been drinking, and they pushed my buttons. So I fucking yelled at my nephew and my mom. And my dad and my nephew like hit me from behind and threw me down. Like, you're kidding an old man. What am I going to fight back? But no, I got hit. I had marks on me. And I went to criminal justice school. I took the police recruitment exam for Cincinnati and I passed it. I should have known not to call the cops. I called the cops on them. I was half drunk. I just wanted the cops to come tell them to chill the fuck out. But this cop had a boner for me because my baby Roxy... Shit, I'm getting off topic, but I'm going to do this the best I can and just tell you what led up to this cop like having an erection for me. Roxy got loose and she did not bite the mailman. She charged the mailman. I could tell that's when she was sick because she juked me and I caught her from behind. And the mailman was a war vet, so he had a flashback, and he bumped his ass on a rock and said Roxy bit him. There was no evidence. So this scrawny ass little fucking dog warden came over and said, I'm gonna have to take your dog. I stood in front of the door. I said, you gotta go through me first, motherfucker. Call who you gotta call. Then the cop comes over. He tries to walk in the house. I said, you're not fucking touching that dog. You take me to jail. And he gave me bogus charges, and the chief told the cop to knock it down to ticket. The ticket was like $260. But this cop has a hard one for me. So this cop comes and makes up some bullshit that I pushed my mom, which didn't happen. She didn't tell him that happened. He made this story up totally. And he was a sergeant in the police department. And when he took me to the station, he didn't even know how to fill out the paperwork for domestic violence. That was my charges. I was innocent. I was actually a victim, but don't call the cops, ladies and gentlemen. Don't ever do it unless you have to. But not all cops are bad. There are some bad cops. This cop's a bad cop. He's like 70 years old. I don't know what he's doing on the streets. If I could have my way, I'm not mad at him anymore. But for years, for about a year, I thought I wanted just got to take his badge off and let's have at it in the alley. But no, I'm not mad at him anymore. But some cops are bad. Don't let the cops get a boner for you. So yeah, anyways, I got arrested and he took me to jail. The first night, well, I'm an alcoholic. I'm actually going to have to go back to detox. I was just in my sober living house. I'm not trying to tell you my fucking life story, but I had been drinking. I wasn't on a bender yet. So when I went to jail, they stuffed 40 milligrams of Librium down my throat. So I spent the first night in the drunk tank. And by the time I got in there, I was so fucked up with the Librium, they forced it down my throat. I just slept on the floor. I didn't even try to sit down. So then I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'll be out of here in the morning. But no, there was a hold on it. I had to wait for my court date to get out because the cop fucked me, made sure I didn't get bail. And so I went to court and I didn't get out. And I went into the first block. What they do, they search you and give you your jail clothes. It was kind of like intake. The first cell I was in, it was weird because there was like a kitchen and like it was fucking weird. I'm like, this is fucking jail. Like, no, they were just processing us. And they took me to the COVID pod the first night. And I was in the COVID pod for 2 days. And this guy, there wasn't much drama that happened to me, but this guy threatened me. I did punk down to somebody because I had to. I'll tell you why later. I was in good shape when I went in there. I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'9.5", 150 pounds. When I'm in shape, I was about 165 pounds when I went to jail. I was in shape because I was working out and shit. But this guy's like, give me your lunch or I'm going to stab you. It's probably just testing me. I said, well, come in my cell and get it then. So what I did, I'm a pretty intelligent person. I might not sound like it, but I left my door propped open and I sat by it. If that guy would have tried to walk in my cell, I was going to kick the door right in his fucking face. Because you're not supposed to go in people's cells. It's just like etiquette. Like I said, my best friend's been in prison for 18 years, I think, at this point. So I do know, like, the ropes. I already knew the ropes going in there. But they could tell that I was the first time I can't say incarcerated because I didn't get a sentence, but the first time I ever been in jail. So I never saw that fucking guy again. And then when I went to the other block after the COVID block, there is racism in jail. There is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to show you my tattoos, but there's my Celtic cross, and there's my Thor's hammer. I'm not an Odinist, but 3 black guys cornered me on the second tier, and I'm well aware, like, I'm not going off that fucking tier. I'm not a tough guy. I can defend myself and fight a little bit, but and honestly, I'm telling you this, I wasn't fucking scared. I can't whip 3 fucking guys at the same time. I know that, but I wasn't scared. Just when I was in jail, I was on the edge. Everybody's pissed off in there. I wasn't going to start a fucking fight. Like, I didn't want any, but I wasn't backing down to nobody. And that was when I was walking to my cell, when I got put in the other pod. And I just heard this, I'm not racist because I'm going to say a black guy. This huge black guy's like, leave my celly the fuck alone. And we all turned around and like the 3 other black guys just like put their heads between their legs and walked away. I think he was like their pod boss or something, but he was my cellmate for my last night in there. And yeah, he's like, well, explain your tattoos to me. I was like, Dude, I'm not a fucking racist. And I told him my hair was about this long. I said, I spotted the white cell with the Nazi cell as soon as I walked in that block. I said, look at my hair. If I was a fucking skinhead, I would shave my head and shove it in your face. Like, no, I'm not. Not a racist. I'm not a skinhead. I see the white cells right down there. Like, did I go talk to them? No, I didn't. I just want to go to court and get the fuck out of here. And of course, you do have to show your paperwork. And it was domestic violence, which that's not going to get you beat up in there, because most of the time for domestic violence, the guy's not guilty. The guy's usually not guilty. He's either not guilty or he beat the fuck out of his wife or somebody. He either did it bad or he got fucked by the law. Because Ohio and the law in Ohio, excuse me, I'm pretty sure is if they get a call for domestic violence, somebody has to go to jail no matter what. So I had been drinking. I wasn't intoxicated. So technically I had to go to jail. Even though I showed the cops I had marks on my chest. I wasn't worried about it. They weren't hurting me. I wasn't going to fight back. But but yeah, and then when I was my last night in there, I did get tested. Because this is shit, I'm a bad storyteller. This happened a while ago. But this is true. I'm trying to tell it truthfully. I showed them my paperwork and they saw my charges and my court date. They knew if you go to jail or prison, this happens in prison, I know because I have friends in prison and another friend who did time. If they know you're about to go home, they'll do anything to keep you there. So this guy, he was about my size. I'm 39. I was 37 then, and I was in pretty fucking good shape when I went to jail, like luckily. And this guy started shit with me. I had to punk down. What was I gonna do? Fight him? I mean, I would have gotten more charges. I would have got more charges, and I think I could have beat the dude's ass, but I don't know that. So nothing good would have happened from it. But if the judge would have sent me back to the block, I knew, like, I'm gonna have to fight this guy in the shower if I don't get out on my court date. But I did. And when I was in the bullpen, this guy was like whacked out on drugs. And my cellmate did have these little joint things. He had drugs and shit. And I said, if you're gonna smoke that, just like let me know. I'll go in the day room. Of course, I'm not gonna fucking rat on you. And when I got out of court, I walk in the cell to get my shit, and he has his joints just right out in the open. So obviously the guards have something to do with the fucking drugs in the county jail. They did. And then, yeah, my cellmate, Jerome, you're not gonna watch this. You were cool to me, Jerome. Jerome did say, he was trying to teach me the ropes of jail. He's like, you know, I could just beat your fucking ass in this cell if I wanted to, right? Like, he could have. He was a fucking beast. But Jerome was the one that said, don't fuck with my cellmate, obviously. He made those dudes leave me alone. But, yeah, he's like, you know, I could beat your fucking ass if I wanted to. It's like, I don't give a fuck. But I wasn't scared of him. If I would have fought Jerome, there's about a 2% chance I would have won if I cheated. But he wasn't trying to fuck with me. He was just pretty much letting me know how jail was, which I already fucking knew. I already pretty much knew. But he was trying to scare me, which he didn't scare me. But he was acting all religious and shit, and he made me read his fucking case, like, all night. He made me read all of his shit, because they did fuck him over for some reason, I forget, but... And I eventually just said, like, man, I gotta go to sleep, I got court in the morning. And the bullpen story, yeah. This guy was just, like, going crazy. And I have anxiety issues, especially on, like, an active addiction or whatever, which I wasn't, but I had drank 2 days before, so I get anxiety. I banged on the door. I'm like, man, I gotta get out of here. Like, I couldn't say I'm about to kill this guy. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't gonna murder anybody, by the way, but I was just thinking, I can't take this shit. Like, I'm about to attack this fucking guy, and I'm about to get out of jail when I go to court. So I just banged on the door, and the CO came in, and I said, man, I'm about to have a heart attack. This guy's going crazy. I'm having anxiety issues. He's like, well, there was one little tiny room, like the size of a bathroom. He's like, well, can you just go in there? I was like, yeah. So I was locked in the bullpen until 5 o'clock at night, because somebody took their case to trial, and I was the last fucking one. So I sat in this little fucking cage in the bullpen till 5 fucking o'clock. I was getting really anxious then too, like in there. But I pretty much knew I was going home. But yes, I did punk out to some dude. I wouldn't have bet against myself if I would have fought him, but you never know. I didn't know if he was connected with somebody, which I really wasn't worried about that. I wasn't a shit stirrer. I'm not a shit stirrer. But I deleted all my videos because I've been trolling. It's fun. I know a 39-year-old man shouldn't be trolling, but when I troll, it's just, I say something off the wall. Like, I just posted a comment on a video randomly, like, Dennis Rader for president. Like, it's fucking stupid. Dude's a serial killer. Just say something really stupid, and some people just get fucking ass hurt. And the easiest troll is, go to a Bret Hart video, and the Canadian fans are just fucking stupid. They're so easy to troll. Say, Bret Hart thinks wrestling's real, or like, Bret Hart lost the fight to Shawn Michaels, and they'll just like lose their shit. It's so funny, but I'm going 16 minutes. But yeah, the last thing I forgot, it's just been a while ago. Jerome said he had a barber's license. He said, I'm going to cut your hair for court tomorrow. I'm like, all right, fine, go for it. So they actually let us out of the block in the hallway, and they let him shave my head, and he like fucking ribbed me. He made me look ridiculous. I was trying to grow my hair then too, so I had to shave it off because he did a bad haircut on purpose. And then there was no fights. There was 2 fights that I'm aware of, none in my blocks. They called it code red, and the officers all rushed to the fight, obviously, which is why you don't want to get in a fight in jail or anyway, because they won't break it up. The guards will not come out of the sally port to break it up. They'll wait till all the fucking guards are there. So if you do get in a fight, like, they will watch you fight for like as long as it takes for all the guards to get there to break it up. But I did get called into the hallway for some reason. Oh, I've almost said my last name, but they said my last name to the sally port. I'm like, what the fuck for? Like, are they gonna beat me up? They took me in the hallway, and they just gave me a pillow. They called me in the hallway to give me a pillow, and this other inmate just assaulted the cops. Like, I'm not kidding. This dude assaulted the cops. I just stood there like, I wasn't going to help either fucking one of them. But, well, there's cameras just about everywhere. They say you fight under the stairs or in the shower. Which, a big mistake I made. I was bored. I went in the shower. 3 times a day. I wasn't fucking whacking off or nothing. I was just rinsing off because they wouldn't give me any soap or shampoo. So I was trying to keep myself clean. Don't do that. If somebody wants to get you, that's where they'll get you. I didn't think I had any enemies, but you never know in there. 2 guys could have walked in the shower, and another guy could have held the door shut, and I would have been fucked. Knowing full well about jail and prison, I've never been to prison, but knowing the ropes, so that was a really dumbass thing for me to do, to go in the fucking shower as much as I did. But yeah, they just took the guy down and cuffed him. Kind of the only entertainment all week, except one night the TV was right outside my cell, and I didn't have a cellmate one night, and there was football on all week. But jail sucks. Don't go. That's my story. It's just really fucking boring, and it is dangerous. But I wasn't scared. I'm not a big tough guy or nothing. You can tell by looking at me, and I wouldn't act like I am because I know I'm not, but everyone in there's agitated. That's why shit pops off over fucking nothing. But I'm gonna go for now. No one's gonna watch this whole thing. It's fucking 19 minutes. But I don't even know if I'm gonna post it. Alright, hope everyone's doing well.